Duke, issue number 2. It's Duke time, everybody. Here we go, folks. Duke is back at it again. The second issue for Duke in the Energon universe. It's Conrad Hauser from G.I. Joe. If you don't know, you know. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals. They're all together in a thing. Is it because Paramount owns both of these properties and we want an excuse to make it relevant so if we put them in a movie together, people aren't mad? Maybe. I say all that, and I genuinely think this makes more sense to do them in a comic book together than a movie. Because one, your last Transformers movie didn't make that much of like an impact on the culture, and no one's talking about it now. And two, nobody under the age of 30 gives a shit about the G.I. Joes. I'm sorry. Us who read comic books and follow the Joes, we're not like regular people. They could pick out Cobra Commander and Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and maybe Duke and Scarlet. And the Baroness, of course, but does it go any further than that? Probably not. Whatever. I like the Joes enough. It's of that era, it's the one I probably know the least a bit about. And what I kind of like about this book the most so far is just like how anti-military Duke is. He's like, they fucked me over. I'm not playing around anymore. I don't trust these people. He's going to learn to trust these people and become a G.I. Joe guy. But I like that so far in this book, he's like, nope, the establishment, they used me. They don't think I'm telling the truth. Screw it. I'm going off on my own. So in this issue, he is going to visit an old friend of his. And that old friend is Clutch, who is a character. You know who he is. He's the guy that likes to work on cars. So he in this universe owns like an impound lot or just like a junkyard for cars, and he just builds them and takes parts or whatever. And he's like, oh, my old buddy Duke looks like he's gotten himself into some trouble in the news. And then Duke comes to visit him. He's like, I'm in some deep shit. But they're bros, and Clutch don't give a shit. He's like, I'm in, bro. They do the classic, like, Dutch and Dylan handshake from Predator. You see Clutch was in bed with, like, a beautiful blonde, doesn't remember her name. She smacks him and storms out. It's just bros being bros, and I can't be mad at it for that. It's part of G.I. Joe. It's like, these are macho, cool guys. They got long hair and beards, you know. We could easily slap two handsome actors today in these roles and just move on with our lives. But you're like, these cool guys, Clutch doesn't give a shit. He's all in for his bro. He's going to help him out. So Duke's about to pass out. They go to the operating room, which is like the garage. And that's when we pull out some bullets that were inside of Duke. We also pull out the tracker or something that was given to Duke that he kind of took. He's like, well, I don't really know what this is. It looks like a tracker, and, you know, I kind of have history of trackers. I might have accidentally sold, like, illegal tracker stuff inside of cars that I've sold. I'm not saying I did, or I'm not saying I didn't, but that's something that I was a part of. So whatever this is, wherever it takes you, they set it up. It's somewhere in, like, the Midwest of the U.S. they have to head to, or Duke has to head to. He's like, well, that's where you have to go. Whatever, like, your secret mission was where you saw Starscream or whatever, and, like, this lady hired you to do this thing, and you got attacked, that's going to take you to this location. So, best of luck, bro. I hope it works out for you. Maybe. We also see, as that's happening, Destro is doing something. We don't really know what he's doing, but he hits, like, a button, or, like, he gets an alert or something, and it's like, something's happening. So, Duke is about to head out. And we cut him talking to Clutch about, like, what he's going to do on this mission. Like, he's like, are you going to involve your brother? He's like, no, my little bro, I'm not getting him involved in this shit. This is too serious for him. I ain't going back to the military either. But as they are getting ready, we intercut that with, like, okay, someone's got, like, a jukebox. Someone's putting on their headphones. And then Rock and Roll, another character in G.I. Joe, shows up and just starts firing a huge, is it like an assault rifle or something? I don't know guns, but he's just, I got my headphones on, my hat backwards. I'm about to kill a bunch of bros. And this big bro just starts blowing up the guns, destroys, like, Clutch's nice car, and they just have to, like, run away. They get into, like, a big, like, Jeep, or I think it's more like a Hummer, and then Clutch is like, you're not driving. You used to crash cars all the time, dude. I'll drive. Get in the seat. So when we also see that Rock and Roll has drones, and he starts firing guns of drones at them, And you're like, what is going on? But he's missing them on purpose, and Duke figures out, oh no, he's leading us into a trap. And that is when we see Sergeant Stalker blows out the tires. They crash into a tree. Clutch is kind of like almost knocked out. And then Stalker's like, Duke, just stop. Like, you're done for. You're surrounded. We're obviously more skilled at this than you at this moment. So Duke goes in for a punch. He misses. Stalker just like kicks him down. And they knock him out and they drag him away. So we got him. And he's like, all right, you know what to do. They tell Hawk we got him. They take him to a secret underground location. It's called the Pit. And Duke's like, I thought the Pit was decommissioned in the 80s. It's like, well, maybe, but we use it for special occasions like you. Because you saw some shit you probably shouldn't have. And I love that all these guys are just like, they're big macho bros just doing big macho bro stuff. Like, you have, like, the shots where it's the four of them together. Like, they all have facial hair. They're all jacked as shit. You got, like, one guy that's, like, 6'5", backwards cap, just listening to AC/DC probably, just cranking some loud shit. And then they're just, like, it's just big dudes being ridiculous. And it's so good for these characters because like we don't need to see like we're running down like the fields and it's like espionage shit. It's like no, they're just like a bunch of dicks who can't communicate because the military complex is crazy right now. So Duke and Clutch both get locked up. And he's like, I know who you both are, and like you don't have to take orders from this prick. He's a dickhead. Like this all sucks. You have to trust me. I know what I'm doing. No one's gonna believe me. And so Stalker and Rock and Roll are just gonna head out. They're gonna leave Duke and Clutch in there, but we also hear the voice of a mysterious prisoner who's like, you are saying something very interesting. You know, I think we have common goals. We both want freedom, and I think we can make an arrangement. And who is talking to Duke? Well, first we see some like dark fingernails, and they're kind of like sharp and long. And before we get the reveal, I'm like, okay, I've seen some artwork for this book. I know who's going to become a character because she is kind of connected to the past of Duke in some iterations, especially if you watch a certain movie with Channing Tatum, who is also locked up in that cell. Well, it's Baroness. And how can you tell it's Baroness? Well, she's got glasses on and she's got black hair and it's iconography. If who else is it going to be? And I love it. Like, I've said this numerous times before. I'll say it numerous times again. The Baroness, my favorite character in the G.I. Joe mythos. I love her. I think she is so much fun. It just makes me smile that she's finally in the book. Like, thank God she is here. I love this girl. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen with her. What is she going to do now? What is she going to do? Like, yeah, fine. Okay, finally, cool. Clutch is on the team. He's a bro, but now we got like a scary spy lady who's obviously going to use a Duke, and she's going to pretend to like love him, or like they're going to have like a weird fling, and she's going to betray him, and he's going to be like, no! And I'm all in. Whatever she's doing, I'm in for. Good for Baroness. I love her. I love it. This book, it's so much fun. And it is starkly different than the stuff going on in the other ones. Like, you compare this to, like, even Transformers and even, like, Cobra Commander. It's just so different. And it's a really fun energy that I'm really vibing with. I am really vibing with this energy. Having so much fun. Can't wait to see where we go. I'm all in. I've said that before, but I'll say it again. I'm all in on this universe. I'm all in on this G.I. Joe iteration. It's kind of the thing I wanted from the characters, you know? And I know Larry Hama's doing like his big thing now at Skybound where he's like continuing his classic work. And that's really exciting. I know that's going to be good and people are going to like that. But give me just a bunch of muscly guys just with distinctive looks. They're like all kind of military, but they're not like really military. Like they're all just action figures. And I love that. It's so much fun. So Duke, issue number 2, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.